Welcome to today's live stream. Israel Kimmin here from Vintageducation.com. What we're going to be doing in today's live stream is we're going to be breaking down just some of the currency markets and what's basically happening right now. So for those of you joining me on the live stream, thanks for tuning in. For those of you watching on the replay, I hope this can be obviously beneficial to you as well. So let's just jump straight into it. We're basically going to look at some of the markets. You should be able to see my screen right now. You should be able to see me. The real emphasis of today's live stream is to break down the currency markets to give you more insights, more help in regards to how you actually break down the Forex markets charts. But at the same time, what I decided to do at the same time is basically open it up for anyone that wants to call in with Forex questions, and whatever questions I can answer on the show, I'll try and answer them. Forex related only, obviously. So let's jump into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, you should be able to see my charts, the pound against the dollar. That's what we'll discuss first and foremost. But I want to start by highlighting something that many Forex traders, a mistake that many Forex traders make, and this will obviously help you as well in regards to understanding how the markets actually move. So when it comes to trading, okay, yes, you can see my charts right now, but there's a couple of key components that you should focus on before you ever get to the charts. What are those? There's two things fundamentally. Okay. Now, the first thing you should always do is you should actually look at your business plan template, your Forex trading journal, however you want to call it. I've consistently dubbed this as my best Forex trading tool. We've done a video about that on the channel recently as well. It's in the link in the description box for you to watch after this live stream. What you can see here is this is the business plan template, the trading plan journal for the trade for you business as I sort of created. And this is basically like a test environment, a test account for my students, which I've basically recently started and will be continuing basically trading with a smaller trading account, about £500-600, which is these days pretty much about $500-600, considering pound is heading towards 1-to-1 in regards to just equality in regards to currency strength. And this should have loads of different insights into it. It should have the real reasons why you're doing this, not just like a monetary goal. These are things we've discussed on recent videos as well in the link in the description box. So this is the first thing you should focus on every day before you go to trade. It should have all of this insights here. Basically, it should have your trading rules. It should have the currencies you're looking to trade. It should have how much you should risk maximum and all these different kind of things. And that is what you should focus on before you ever get to the charts. Okay. So again, you can basically see exactly what, excuse me, you can see exactly what I've been doing there to set this up if you want to copy it that way. But again, like I said, there's a video for that in the description box you can watch actually after as well. Okay, so let's jump to the charts. And even just imagine, I'm getting ahead of myself. One more thing that I want you to focus on as well is this thing right here, which is the economic calendar. Okay, so after you've gone through your trading journal, business plan template, you've looked at all of these different things, you've recalibrated. Okay, this is the trading activity I did yesterday. This is how my trading actually went. Look at economic calendar. This is forexfactory.com. I use this starting now. I still use it today. There's loads of different places you can get free options like this to basically just see what's coming out in today's data. You can see most of the information so far has come out already earlier in the day in regards to Australia. A lot of news came out of Australia today. The big piece of information, just to kind of give you some quick insights into this, is the big red piece of data here is that the president of America, Donald Trump, is going to be speaking. This is obviously tentative, so that means it can come basically at any time, basically. But now we know, okay, cool. For the most part, the information that's scheduled to come out, okay, I want you to understand that as well. The information that's scheduled to come out on the Forex markets is actually most of it's come already. This doesn't factor in unscheduled news that can just hit the market at any point in time, so just bear that in mind. But it's important you understand about what's scheduled to come out as well. Okay, so now that we've actually done that, let's jump into the charts and let's basically start breaking some things down, because at the end of the day, okay, this is only what we're here for. If we can't understand what the charts are doing, then it's pretty much, I'm looking at a daily chart right now. I'm not completely honed in to like a tick chart or a 1 minute, 2 minute chart at this point in time. We're looking at the daily chart, and this gives us a really insightful piece of information for us to understand. The first thing it kind of highlights to us, which generally it may not be as easy as this, but based on what's actually basically been happening in regards to the market, it's quite easy for us to see that the market has actually just been moving down over the last couple of days. But as we don't know, this is a candle chart, okay? So each candle, so to speak, here symbolizes, based on this time frame, 1 day. So we can see that for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, about last week ultimately, the markets on the pound against the dollar has been moving down. Okay, a lot of uncertainty. The Prime Minister has come out and said certain things which have been basically counterintuitive for the economy, it would seem. The markets have basically been dropping off because of that, and based on that, we have what we have. Now, it's interesting because at the end of the day, we did a video recently, and the point I was talking about in that video was, it was about just the thing that the big issue that's going across the town right now, basically across the global economy. Excuse me. And the big issue I basically highlighted is that, look, people are getting sent home. So many people are getting sent home. People are working less hours. People are not being able to make as much money. And this is why you need to understand that, you know what, working a job may not be, or focusing on a job may not be, focusing on a job only may not be the smartest thing to do. Why? Because if your employee sends you home, whether they want to, or your employer sends you home, whether they want to or not, or if the government in the country that you reside in says, you know what, we're implementing like a cordon, and we're implementing isolation where you have to stay in your house, your income is basically diminished in so many different ways. Whereas in regards to something like trading, it doesn't make a difference. The only difference it potentially makes for you in a lot of ways is you can potentially make more money. Why? Because things may be going bad right now, but you can sell as well as buy, okay, based on what the economy is doing, so to speak. That's just kind of a simple way to explain this. So what we look at here, we can see the daily. And you can see that, like I said, for the last couple of weeks, price has been moving down. Now, we know that market's moving down. You can see that from the beginning of this chart, okay, as you can see here, price has been moving down, although it tried to come back in the middle at the end of December into the new year, but it's subsequently dropped. Okay, so once we know what way the market's going, this is the first thing you should always do when it comes to looking at the charts. What way is the market moving? Now we know which way the market's moving, okay, long term. Why do we focus on what way the market's moving long term? Because it's almost like, imagine you can see this huge tidal wave coming, okay, to the land. It's almost like if you try and go the other way, it's almost like you're trying to swim against that tide. What makes more sense is to not swim against the tide, but is to allow the tide to push you in the direction it's going. That's probably the most safest and the most smartest thing to do. I think you would agree, right? So when you think about it from that perspective, we always want to highlight what way the market's moving long term. So then we can use that information on a day-to-day basis. I'm a day trader, most likely, if that's what you want to categorize it as, where I'm looking to trade every day that I'm at the markets, and I'm looking to make money every day based on those situations. So we know which way the market's going. Then we want to highlight, okay, where likely is the market looking to go to next? Okay, because no market just continues going in one direction all the time. It goes, but it's likely going to find somewhere where it wants to stop. Okay, and normally the chart you're looking at, we're looking at a daily chart here. Normally on this particular scenario, you'll be able to see exactly where it is. But the fact of the matter is, in this particular scenario, we can't see. Okay, so what we do in this instance is we go one level above. We go to a higher time frame, And instead of the daily, we now go to the weekly. And when you go to the weekly, what do we get? We get some information and we see, okay, cool. Let me zoom out a little bit. We see that price has basically hit this level previously before. Okay, how powerful it actually has been. So when you look at it from that perspective, you can see that all of this momentum was an opportunity. But okay, cool. We've seen that the price has come down to this level, the 116, pretty much 50 region. It's actually broken through. Okay, so now we know this. We have insights. Okay, the market's moving down. It's currently right now at a level which is really interesting and something where price may decide to slow down for a little bit, may just continually break through, which can always do that, whether it's moving down or up. And then we say, okay, cool. So this is a level, let's be cautious. Okay, so we're looking to sell the pound against the dollar because the market is showing us, okay, sell. You look at this over the last few years, price has been moving down. And the price has been moving down overall long term, then that is the overall long term momentum you want to go with. It doesn't mean that there are times in here, like you can see, like here, for example, or here, for example, or up, or all the way here, for example, where price is moving up. But we want to go with the long term, okay, overall. So now we know, we've looked at the daily. Now I want to show you, okay, we've seen this highlight, we've seen the last couple of weeks. You can see this particular candle right now, which is the day's candle. That price has moved down. It tried to move down to as low as where it did yesterday, but it didn't quite get there. And what did it do next? It's been pushing back up, basically. So this is just the basics of candlesticks, okay? A candle is going to show you where the market opened. It's going to show you where the candle closed. It's going to show you the high of the candle. It's going to show you the low of the candle. And we can see that the tail on the downside, which we call it, this is just the skinny line. You can see that it shows you this is as low as it's gone so far in regards to this trading day. And it's been able to basically push back up. And overall, it's down because it's a red candle. Green candles are going to be candles that have moved up from open to close. Red candles are going to be candles that have moved down from open to close. So the top of the candle right now is where open. Where it is right now, moving, the bottom of the body is the low. So far is where it currently is. Okay, so now we know this. Let's go to a 4-hour chart and look at exactly what this looks like. Okay, and you start to see the power of what we're basically talking about here. Okay, so we've highlighted the level. Now look at what's happening. So price broke through this region. I've left this red line on just so you can understand specifically what I'm talking about here, in the sense that this is where the market's moving. This is the next key area of interest based on previous price action, previous trading activity. You may not understand, but I'm doing it in this way so you can put all the pieces together and understand that, look, nothing new happens, okay? There's a reference in the Bible that highlights this. When we're thinking, why am I talking about the Bible? I'm a Christian, okay? And it's so fitting that this lines up, because there's something in the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible. It says there's nothing new under the sun. And this is a prime example of in trading, where it shows you that, look, most of the time, the things that are happening in the markets are things that have happened before. Okay, we look at previous activity and we base our decisions based on the past. Okay, so when you think about it from that perspective, there's nothing new under the sun, so to speak. Okay, so look at what the markets are doing. Why, for example, did the market break this area? Okay, the market's coming through with so much velocity from the upside to down. And price decided to break through and stop. And look at what price has been able to do since. Price has just continued to move sideways. Look at that. We're looking at a 4-hour chart now. Okay, so each one of these charts, to make it a bit more visible, each one of these candles, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 candles, that's 20 hours, nearly a whole day. Going back to yesterday, if you include that, that would be potentially up to 24 hours worth of trading activity. We've seen that the price has been moving up, been moving down. Ultimately, if you sandwich this all together, we get the daily. Okay, we'll just go back to, well, I won't go back to the daily, but you sandwich all of these 4-hour candles together, you get the daily, which we just looked at previously, where it had a long, skinny downside, which showed you that it went down, which you can see here. Okay, and then it's pushed back up. So it's stuck within this region, trying to decipher what it's going to do. Why is it that Coincidentally, okay, price decided to stop in this particular region, and now this is the area where price is actually trying to fight back and determine what he wants to do. This is because stuff like this happens on a regular basis. Okay, there's nothing new under the sun. This is all previous trading activity. So when we look at it like that, we're saying, okay, cool. Long term, this market's moving down. So from a trading perspective, what do we want to do? We want to go along with the long term momentum. We want to look for sell positions. And if let's go down even, I'll go down so you can see it's even better. So now we look at our chart. Okay, we know what way the market's going. So what do we have to do now, Israel? Well, if you know what way the market's going, one, obviously be careful, be smart, focus on what? What are we going to focus on? What we talked about previously. First and foremost, we're going to focus on all of this stuff right here. We're going to focus on our trading rules, okay? No more than whatever percentage it is that you're risking, okay? These are the targets that we want to go for, okay? A certain amount of risk to reward. We want to limit ourselves so we don't go crazy and blow our trading account, okay? Because we're in this long term, okay? We're checking the economic calendar, things we've talked about already. I'm only focusing on currency, specific currencies. The pound against the dollar we're talking about right now, yes, it's right there, okay? I'm not going to trade with anyone that is not mentioned right over here, which is, in this particular scenario, it's by myself or with my students, okay? So in this particular scenario where I'm going live publicly for free right now, obviously some of my students may jump on, but at the same time, this is free. This is an environment where I'd be trading. This will be only for people that are in my private community, part of my private program or part of my yearly coaching program where they'll get this benefit. But the point is, these are the things that you're supposed to highlight, and these are the things you're supposed to do in order to set yourself up for Forex success. So what do we do now? So now we're looking at the 1 hour chart, and what does it look like? Now you can see even more detail of what the market is actually doing. We've gone deeper than the 4 hour. Now each of these is 1 hour. So we highlighted already that this activity here, highlighted in basically kind of pinkish red, is like a whole day's worth of trading activity in the last 24 hours. Excuse me. And you can see even more detail that what has price been doing? Price came into this level, and look at this. Okay, price has basically been trying to bottom out right in this region. Okay, and price has been basically trying to bounce. Now, is this going to be the start of a reversal? Maybe, maybe not. This is how markets reverse, whether they're going to start reversing and going up, whether they're going to reverse and start going down. However you want to look at this, this is just what happens. Okay, this is the start. I'm not saying this is literally the start of the pound against the dollar trying to reverse, but I'm just highlighting so you can understand exactly what we're talking about here. So price has been trying to bounce. We've got pretty much 1, 2, 3 times. Some are going to say that's a triple bottom. Maybe that's just techno babble, just Forex language, Forex speech for it's hit a bottom, bounced off it 3 times. Okay, we can see that clearly. But we need to highlight and say, okay, cool. We're still short until the market tells us something different. Some people are going to say it hitting the bottom 3 times is enough. Okay, sometimes that can be the case. For me, I'm going to say, look, I want to see, okay, because what have we seen so far? We've seen that the market so far hasn't tried to come back above this level. Okay, so from this perspective, I want to see what price does in this particular region, first and foremost. Then I want to see if price breaks through that region, what price is doing in this particular region. Why are we taking so much precaution before we think about switching a position, Israel? Because the reason we're doing that, trader, is because we're coming off the back of a huge amount of downwards momentum. And if there's all of this downwards momentum, what does that mean? That means that we should give the downwards momentum every opportunity to continue because it's a lot of momentum, right? So as we look at this stuff, what do we say? We say, okay, cool. Price hasn't tried to break above this particular region right here. Price hasn't broken above this particular region. We're looking for sell positions. So as we look for sell positions, this is how we use all of these time frames together. We now go down to a 15-minute chart, which is the money chart for me ultimately, because I use all of the information that I've kind of compressed for you into just basically 15-20 minutes of analysis so far in today's live stream. And we're taking that information to this particular time frame right here. I may go down to a lower time frame if it's literally entry time, and I'm saying, okay, cool, how am I getting into this market? But I now look at this and say, okay, cool, what has this been doing on a 15-minute perspective? All of this information is still the same. Okay, we still have the red line that we drew on from the weekly chart. We've still got this red area that we've highlighted from the daily. We've looked at the 4 hour, looked at the 1 hour. Now we're basically saying, okay, cool, lower time frames, entry positions. This is what price is actually doing right now, today. Okay, it's the 19th of March. On the 19th of March, up until this point now, 12 in the afternoonish, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time of the US. This is what price is actually doing right now. It's basically, so far, bottomed out today and tried to come back to these higher levels. So far, technically you might say this level right here, but technically I'd say this level is the high right now. Okay, the 116 round number. I'm not going to talk about round numbers too much in today's live stream. Maybe I'll do that another time. But this is where price, so I want to see what price does in this particular region. And what I would basically be looking to do is I'd be looking to see something in this region like this. Okay, an opportunity like this, something like this, where there'd be a trade opportunity. And what we're basically looking at in this particular window, let me just move it up a little bit. We'll be looking for something potentially in that particular region. Now, what we'd also do, let me duplicate it. Let me just move these over. If price does break above this particular region right here, okay, based on this black line, what did I say? The second area I want to highlight is this particular region here. So I'd be saying, okay, cool. This is almost like back to back. Now, when you focus on something like this, you say, okay, Israel, but what if the first one doesn't play out? Well, we don't know. We'll never know if the first one's going to play out until after the fact. This is why we trade. This is why, okay, I'll show you again. This is why we say, look, we want to minimize the amount of risk. We want to take the right kind of trades, and we're going to limit the amount of trading we do every day, because we're not going to be necessarily just saying, okay, look, we're going to be hitting our head against the wall every single day. If, for example, price came into this first region, let me change this to blue, okay, potential. And let me change this one to green, because this is the one I'd be more confident in taking. Okay, so blue is potential. So if price comes into the blue region, just for reference purposes, so you can see this better, and I'm saying to myself, okay, price comes in, it does exactly what I want it to do in this particular region, and I take a sell position. Price goes against me, I get stopped out. Okay, fine. Price now comes into this region, I take another trade, it goes against me, I lose. I say, okay, fine, I'm done for the day. I'm not going to be sitting around taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades, trying to get this. What does that immediately cause me to do? That immediately causes me to make the right decision, to make a better decision. If I know, look, I've only got 2 swings at this bat, okay, this needs to pay off. So maybe you miss certain trades sometimes. Maybe price comes into the blue region and moves down, and I say, okay, you know what, I missed it, because it just, based on how I'm trading, it didn't pan out. Maybe it goes through and I say, okay, no, I'm only going to take it if it comes to the top, because this is the highest level that price has moved back before moving down. I say, okay, cool, I'm taking that trade by itself. And I say, that makes more sense to me. That's the wise thing to do, okay? because I can say, okay, cool, this is one trade I can take on this particular currency. But also, if I'm looking at another currency that's part of the trade currencies that I'm basically looking to trade, as I basically have detailed here, there's 5 currencies I might be looking at, and I'm able to trade based on this trading account based for my students, etc. So I say to myself, okay, cool. I'm basically going to take one trade on this, and I'm going to take another trade on another currency. If, for example, there's currencies, the other 4 currencies that I can look at are not providing anything of interest to me, then I say, okay, maybe I'm going to put these 2 trades today on this particular currency. So look what price is doing right now. Okay. And this is a testament, because some people will be looking at this stuff and saying, okay, cool, yeah, I'm just going to sell right now. The market's moving down long term, I'm just going to sell. And this is how you become, this is how you get precision, how you become precise in the markets, because we're doing all of this stuff before the markets are actually there. This isn't emotional. This isn't, oh, the market is ticking up and down, let me buy or let me sell now. No, this is, I've done my analysis and I'm looking at this saying, okay, cool. If the markets get into these regions, then I'll basically try and take a trade. Okay, and it's not just it gets into the region, it needs to get into the region and show me, give me some signals, some candlestick information that highlights to me on this particular time frame that the market is actually moving down. These are the kind of things you basically need to think about. Okay, so when we look at this, what should we talk about next? Let's look at another currency. What we could do is, let's add an alert. Okay. And this alert is basically going to highlight to us it's time to go. The market has actually hit this level. But while this is waiting, because there's no point looking at this chart anymore. Oh, what is it time? Is it not time? No, we've done our analysis. Now we say, let's move on. Let's go and look at another currency. Let's look at what that's doing. And let's leave the pound against the dollar to do what it's going to do. Okay, it's not ready for us right now. Okay, it's like putting food back in a microwave. I don't use a microwave, but for example, it's like cooking food, heating food up, and then we're just literally sitting by the cooker and we're just looking at it. Oh, what's it doing? What's it doing? No, we've set a timer. When it's 30 minutes, the food should be done. We're going to come back in 30 minutes. We're going to look at another currency. We're going to do the exact same kind of thing. And then if the market gets into this region, it's going to alert us and say, okay, cool, it's time to go. It's time to come back and look. And we're not going to be emotional about it and say, okay, cool, yeah, we're going to now take a trade. We're going to see what the candles are doing. And based on however you get into the market, based on how I get into the market, if I see certain candles forming that interest me, then I'll think about taking a sell position. Let's look at the euro as well while we're waiting. Okay. So again, this is the euro USD. You should be able to see the USD. What do we do now? If you've been paying attention to what we've been saying so far, the first thing we do is what time frame do we look at? We go to the higher time frame. I may not necessarily do this as long per se on this particular example, because you kind of get the point. But we look at the daily and we say, okay, the euro looks extremely similar to the pound against the dollar. Okay, cool. So we can see from this perspective the market's moving down. Let's go to a higher time frame for more information. Okay, and we can see just by looking at this. Let's move it over. Then we put a line on and say bit about here. This doesn't have to be perfect as well. You can see, okay? You can see that the 105.50 region is the last kind of key area. So we've got that from the weekly now, okay? Now we go to a daily, and what do we see? We see that it's not even showing up yet on the daily time frame, okay? Just natively, not by like zooming in and zooming out or anything like that, okay? But we know which way the market's going. And let me just give you one more look at that, okay? At the overall snapshot, you can see from 4 or 5 years ago, price has been moving down. Price tried to consolidate for a few years, push back up, and subsequently has been moving down. It's now trying to get back to these particular regions. So now we go to, let's look at the 4-hour chart, because we know what way the market's going. We can see the market's been moving down. We can see in real time how the market's moving down. We go to an hour chart. Now we're just looking, okay, cool. How do we try and make the most of these decisions? You may say, let's do a trend line. Okay, again, these don't have to be perfect, but this is just kind of just basic trend line. Leave it black. We'll go down to a 15-minute view. And for example, we're looking at this and seeing that the market has been moving down. Now let's do this. You can do another line based on a 15-minute activity. And then what you can basically do is, as you go back up to a higher time frame, you can see this is the overall trend line, but you can see how price has actually basically tightened up in this particular scenario as price has become more volatile. Okay, now we go to a 15-minute and we're looking, okay, cool. How are we going to potentially get into this market? It may not be as clean as the pound against the dollar. It may not be. Okay? In the pound against the dollar, it was right at the level. So it was a lot easier to kind of ascertain these things, how price may go back and how my price may drop. But we look at this and say, okay, cool, price is trending. So what we look to see is something along the lines of price pushing back up somewhere, okay, and then price moving down and continuing this downwards trend. But the fact of the matter is, this is about being patient if it's going to continue this downwards trend. So right now, where people might be saying, okay, the market's moving down, like, and get so excited just by what's happening in real time, we have to be patient. Why? Because we're not gamblers, we're traders. This is an art. Okay, this isn't something that we just say, okay, cool, we're just gonna do because we're just gonna do it. That's not how it works. Okay, you want to be smart with this. You want to make the right decisions in order to be successful. Okay, so this is the pound, this is the Euro USD. Both markets, okay, look prime in a lot of ways. And you can see what price has been doing. Now, anything else doesn't really matter, okay, in a sense. Let's look at the pound against the dollar just before we wrap up this live stream. We can go into any time frame now. The numbers, all of the information has been drawn on. So no matter what happens now, we can go down even to the extreme of a 1-minute chart. Okay. And we can say, what's the market doing? But we're just looking. This is what the market is actually doing. on a 2 to 3 minute basis, you can see so far a couple of minutes ago it's tried to top out of this particular region. Okay, let me give you some game before I go. Okay, you need to understand how Forex works, how trading works. There's a buyer and there's a seller. Based on my analysis right now, I've kind of pinpointed how we can look for a sell position on the pound against the dollar. Okay, so even if you've been sent home, we talked about this earlier in the live stream, that doesn't prohibit you, that doesn't stop you from making money. Why? Because there's opportunities like this in trading where you can make money whatever way the market's going. Okay, if the pound is getting weaker opposed to the dollar, then we can basically sell our pounds, okay, and buy them back, theoretically speaking, thanks to our brokers at some point later. But look at this, there's a buyer, there's a seller. I've ascertained that I think the market's going down. These are particular areas that I may be interested in taking a sell. It's not a guarantee, because if it was, I would be in the market already. I want to see what the market's doing. We're now looking at a 3-minute chart. We're not trading based off a 3-minute chart. We've done our analysis based on the daily, the weekly, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour, and the 15. I can now take an entry based on any time frame, whether it's the 15-minute, whether it's the 5-minute, 10-minute, whatever. The analysis is done. It's now about waiting for the market to get into those areas and decide. So we highlighted this first area that you can see purple, and we said, okay, cool. What's happening? Over the last 3, 6, 9 minutes, price has tried to top out here and it's moved down. And now this candle, as you can see here, which is green, price is trying to move back up. So you can see what's happening. We're waiting. You can see that now price is trying to move down. Okay. In all honesty, I highlighted these two regions. There's nothing wrong with and I guess I have to say this as well. I didn't say this at the start. Look, I'm not, this isn't categorized as financial advice, okay? I have to say this for the lawyers out there, okay? This is my own personal opinion, okay? If I make money from these kind of trades, that doesn't guarantee you're going to make money from these kind of trades. And likewise, if I lose money from these kind of trades, that doesn't guarantee you're going to lose money taking these kind of trades. So just bear that in mind, okay? Seek legal financial opinion is what they'd say. All right, so if the point I was going to say is, this is a trade opportunity. This doesn't necessarily like fall under a bad opportunity. I highlighted this region, but the psychology you have to have in this game is you have to understand that, look, if you take this trade in this blue area and it doesn't pan out, that should have limited bearing, if any bearing, on if price comes into this green region and provides an opportunity for you to trade. If I took both of these trades and both of them lost, I'd be completely confident, completely fine. Why? Because my analysis has highlighted this to me, and it's simple. I'm not going to take more risk than I should. I'm not going to take more trades than I should either. And you have to be willing in both scenarios for a trade to work from this blue region, a trade to work from the green region, and for both of these trades to lose. You have to be completely confident and comfortable with all scenarios. I'm willing and comfortable right now to potentially lose 2 potential trades on this, to lose 1 potential trade, or to win 1 trade. It's simple. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to be comfortable in every scenario. It's better that you make most of these decisions before they actually happen than actually just reacting to every tick on the chart that makes the movement, okay, and basically causes you to think about this again. So on that note, I hope this actually been helpful for you. I'll wrap it up there. Again, whether the market moves up or whether the market moves down, it's fine. This is why we trade for. We make these decisions because of that. I'll see you again tomorrow for more analysis like this. We'll pick up where we left off. Maybe we'll talk about another currency, all of those kind of things. At a time such as this, I don't want you to be fearful. I don't want you to worry. I want you to use these opportunities, use these events to realize that, you know what, there's so much more for you out there. And hopefully what I've kind of explained today has actually helped you. If you want to learn more about just how I trade the Forex markets and stuff like that, there'll be a link in the description box for you to actually get some of my free resources. There'll be a link in the description box for you to attend my on-demand free Forex training that you can learn in depth more so how I kind of take trades like this and actually make money from it, whatever the scenario. Good economy, bad economy, mass hysteria, minimal hysteria, etc. All the best with your Forex trading, and I'll see you on the next live stream or video. Take care.